Yeah, just the backstage. Victoria, how are you?
We're live.
I'm good, Omni.
Yeah.
How are you?
Excellent, excellent. We are live. We're going to let people join in. We got 30 or so already logged in. Welcome, guys. Welcome. We have Carlos Amaya, myself, and we have Victoria Amaya coming in today. So co-hosting with us. Excited to hear from both of you guys as family business, what's going on with that as well. But while we're starting, we're going to give a couple minutes for people to get logged on. Thank you very much for accommodating. We did a last minute change of venue. We got people to register on Zoom. We used Zoom last time. I wasn't happy with Zoom as a webinar, so we are going to try this new platform to see if we like it. If you guys attended last week and this week as well, would love your feedback on as to which was a better experience for you. But put in the chat, where are you guys not zooming in from, logging in from to join us? Put in the chat, tell us where you're from, and we're going to have some really good interaction and some Q&A and some really good topics coming on board.
Yeah, it's great. It's great. Like you said, I want to say hi to everybody. Just we don't take your time for granted. Thank you for being with us. And it's exciting because the great use of technology, just a change of venue. Like sometimes in the past, we still do it. We still do the in-person event, but now we connect with people can say hello from Northern Virginia, and it's all over the place. So please say more Virginia is representing Planet Earth.
Hello from
Marcus,
Planet Earth.
all of us. Yeah. Fairfax, DC area. Okay, perfect. Erica, say hi to Erica.
Welcome Juan. All right.
Arlington.
Glad you're here.
Yeah, please chat it. Glenn Estrada, Charlotte, North Carolina.
Charlotte, North Carolina. I love it.
DMV in the house.
That's a Richmond in the house. Mason Neck. All right.
Yes.
Martin. Yeah, that's Martin. What's up, Martin?
Yeah, Warrington, PA. Richmond. A lot of Virginia. You guys are killing it.
Welcome.
So we would like to know where you guys are joining us from, one. And two, we always have figured out what is the best content that we can bring you. This is our second month. So what are your biggest obstacle right now? What are your biggest, what is it, the biggest thing that's stopping you to get to the next level? So you put it there, so we're going to be able to hopefully address it today. And if not, definitely we'll do it in the next couple of episodes or monthly episodes.
Yeah, we have topics queued up, but if we see a bunch of the same topic popping up over and over again, we might just call an audible and talk about that topic today. If you guys are all dealing with the same thing, definitely we could push that to the front of the line here. But let's go ahead and get started. More people will be joining us here, but glad you guys could join us. So once again, this is our TribeCast webinar. I'm Omni Casey. This is Carlos Amaya and Victoria Amaya. So Carlos and Victoria are great friends. They actually run our Charlotte, North Carolina Cash Flow Breakfast Club. It's a family affair. There's actually Carlos, wife, and his two daughters help run that. But Victoria and Carlos do a lot of the presenting out there. And you guys have been in real estate for a while, right? So real estate investors, various types of real estate investors. And I'm jealous. My kids are young. My goal is to create a family business like you guys are doing. But, you have a very active family, and particularly the two of you getting involved in the real estate business. So I wanted to, before we started, just you tell us a little bit about who you are. And specifically, let's lean into those of us who have kids or grandkids or brothers, family members that might want to actually go do a deal together or might actually want to be real estate investors together, start a business together. Let's talk through that dynamic. I'm sure it's not all roses, but maybe the good, the bad, the ugly of what that looks like. So I'll turn it over to either one of you who wants to get started.
Yeah, definitely. I've been so blessed to be in the industry for a long time, since 2004, and then I've been having through different stages in my life. Initially, I was with my wife, the both of us working husband and wife, and then we have our beautiful daughter join us. And I would like to Victoria presented really well. So can you tell us how did you get into the business? And then we're gonna talk about our current dynamic. How is we were able to do what we do right now. And like you said, it's ups and downs, things that work really well and things that they're still work in progress. But Victoria, so how did you get into the business? Because you said it so well and you presented this morning.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Father. I appreciate that. So I like to say that I was quite literally born into the business. My parents were realtors for 20 plus years. Quite literally, the second I left the womb, my mom took me with her to showings. I was always accompanying her to showings while she was showing the home to the parents. They would bring their kids, and then I'd be showing the houses to their kids. And I'd be marketing it, and I'm like, this backyard's huge. Dang, I wish I lived here. You could play here forever. And then the kids would go, Mom, 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 I need the house. I need the house. And then they'd go under contract. So then my mom realized I was like the biggest thing that was generating the revenue for her. And just conversations at the lunch table, at the dining table, weren't normal conversations. They were real estate conversations. I was quite literally raised in that ambiance. There were weekends where I was taken to different properties, and then not only were my parents realtors, but after a certain time, they then learned how to just use those investing gifts for themselves. So then after that, you guys did full-time investing as well, and they would take me to those properties. They would make me, well, not make me, but they would make me. They would make me clean the homes before we had tenants coming in. I was cleaning in like trash in like Newark, New Jersey, picking up bottles, and I'm like, what am I doing here? What am I doing here? But you really do learn and grasp a lot of information. I learned a lot of technical terms and just the world of real estate. So I kind of had a rebellious phase where I was like, real estate. Oh, they're going to make me go into real estate. Let me rebel and be an accountant, the biggest form of rebellion you can. So I made the accountant and finance to get my CPA. And then in that, I was in the accounting club. I was top officer. I was doing great on paper, but I realized I was like, okay, we had guests coming in, and the guests were like the 1% of accountants that made it in New York. So I was like, okay, what are you doing? Like, how much money you're making? How many hours are you working? You've been doing this for how many years? And they'd be like, oh, I'm making like this amount of money. I've been doing this for this many years. I work like 120 plus hours, and I never see my family. And I'm like, this is the goal, and this is the 1%. This is if you're like the best accountant ever. And I would look around, and I was surrounded by my parents doing real estate stuff, and I'm like, we could do that in a deal. What you're working for here. So I was like, this is just a stopping block, and I was stuck in my comfort zone. So then we dropped everything and we moved. I'm basically telling our life story. We dropped everything and we moved from New York to Charlotte, North Carolina. And in that moment, I had a decision. I could either keep continuing to get my CPA and everything and go down a path that didn't have much growth, or I could just go all in into real estate, something that I've been taking a class in my whole life, and realizing that I actually am pretty skilled because I inherited genes from two awesome real estate individuals, and I was raised and trained by them. So someone had to get their North Carolina real estate license. I'm really glad that it was me. And with that, I've been able to help my family, not only my family, but also other clients as well with my experience. So that's a kind of summary of how I got into the business.
I love it.
Full disclosure, that cleaning was like twice. I mean, we have.
It felt like more than twice.
I know it does feel more than twice, but that was we have the whole team that was supposed to be doing that, and you know how it is. Sometimes you get there, and it was like Sunday morning, and I think it was one was a tenant, and the other one I think we were selling the house, and then we have like showings, so people coming in, or like man. And then my wife is extremely well organized. She loves like detail oriented. To me, I was like, that was okay. I mean, still like we can just tell them we're gonna clean it later, but no, we have to clean it. And she can just get there and she was encouraged by beautiful young girls, and then we're like they keep reminding us every weekend that we just take them to Newark, New Jersey. But it wasn't the whole time; it's always the time. But just to speak it back to what Victoria said, I know we don't want to take the whole presentation today. But so right now, what we do, we have different roles. So we realize that all of us have different talents, and we try to work together and you like adjust work together and try to figure out which one is our best use for our time and our best return on investment, and what we can do better for the team. So in my case, I'm like the deal finder, the connections, and then the strategy, the deal analyzer. That's I think that's my strength, and then managing the team. Like when we have to do repairs and everything or renovations. My Victoria is great in terms of like marketing and doing like presentations and everything that has to do with the disposition of the property. And then my wife is a genius in terms of like decoration. I mean, she sees things that like she brings stuff like we're gonna do this. I'm like, I don't know, I think you're overdoing it. When people come to the places, that was the selling point. So I think that's how we do it. and for the most part, everything goes well. Obviously, we have some differences, but we've been have blessed enough to be able to realize that I mean, even though we live together and we don't bring that inside the house, I mean, we try to live it outside as much as possible. So that's why we try to like each. And we realize that later. Once we have each one have our own role, so we don't overstep. I mean, we are still work as a team, but we don't step on the other person's shoes. That was where it started working really well, and we're still growing. But I think that's why we realize now that we have a good dynamic as a family, working together and 24/7 in the same industry.
Yeah, love it. So I know that you guys bought rental properties up in New York, where you guys were from, and you guys are shifting your business focus to North Carolina. What's your core business now? Like what's the investing targets and goals of deals that you guys are trying to do out there?
Yeah, that's a great question. I just to return a little bit. Long-term rentals. That was my play. Our play. The bird. That was over there for a long time. And then we were like transitioning to syndication. We were like listening to a lot of the big guys, and the syndication is the goal. And we did that, and unfortunately, it did not go that well. So when we moved to North Carolina, we need to reinvent ourselves, and then we started doing it basically because of my wife had the vision to fix and flips. It's funny because I have the podcast, and I mentioned multiple times I love buying whole. I'm not crazy about fix and flip, but we ended up doing that, and then I realized, I like the process. Not crazy about fix and flips. We still do them, but new construction. I got excited about new construction because it's something that we didn't have in New York. The land in New York is not as available as it is here. Even though it's competitive over there, you don't see people like build like a small building building like 1, 2, 3 houses at the time. Usually you have the whole complex. So that's what it is right now. We still do fix and flips if we get a deal that makes sense, but we are focusing just developing the new venture, which is new construction, and it's something that works really well in the market. That's why we're excited to do these calls. We want to find out what works in other markets, but here that works really well.
I love it. Yeah. So later today, we're going to talk about finding off-market deals. What's everyone doing? What's working now? We talk about that once a year in the Castro Breakfast Club. So we're not going to go deep into this, but we're going to really talk about like, what am I doing specifically with all the deals I'm getting under contract? What are you guys doing? And we have some experienced investors on the call as well. We'll maybe tap into that knowledge as well. But for anyone that is in North Carolina market, if you guys have land deals, they're looking for land deals. They're looking to build new construction out there. So excited. So before we shift into some of our topics here today, I saw a few comments of a few people having issues with audio. I see some people saying that they're hearing it fine. If you guys could just put in the chat if you can hear me. Yes, I could hear you. Yes, there's sound. I want to see how big of an issue this is, or if it's just a few people having an issue in there. But if you can hear us, let's go ahead and just comment yes, audio or sound. I have sound.
In the meantime, let me say hi to some people here. We have Lourdes in Fort Mill, South Carolina. Juan Castro said it sounds great. He said, yeah, please let us know. Awesome. Yes, I can hear you. Yes, I can hear you just fine. We can hear you. Perfect.
Awesome. Okay, so if you guys are having issues, my assistant's on here. Her name is Kim. She'll reach out to you. You can reach out to her. She can try and troubleshoot it. To be honest, this is a brand new platform for all of us as well. But I'm sure we can figure it out and try to troubleshoot. So I wanted to go through a couple things, but first off, super excited about this. Literally just yesterday, finalized this. Those of you guys know, I love masterminds. I am a mastermind junkie. I'm probably addicted to masterminds, and I do travel masterminds quite a bit. So I attend travel masterminds. We put on masterminds. There's usually a small group of friends, invite only. This is the first time ever we're doing a cash flow breakfast club mastermind. And it's going to be Vivid Vision related. So once a year, we talk about the Vivid Vision and every single Cash Flow Breakfast Club. That's how important it is. We dedicate almost an entire session to that. It's based off the book Cameron Herald. And you show up, we give you 20 minutes or so to kind of work on this. And it's really not fair because it probably should be 2, 3, 4 days. And some people take that a little bit information we give them, and then they go set aside a couple days and they work on their Vivid Vision. Most people come to the Cash Flow Breakfast Club and then life happens after. They get busy and they don't really have the time to really dig in and build through that Vivid Vision. So by far the favorite mastermind that I go to every single year, often multiple times a year, is the Vivid Vision Mastermind. So I'll share some slides here. We literally just confirmed these dates yesterday, I believe. And you guys are the first people that we're telling about it. So it's going to be June 16th through 19th. And this one's going to be stateside. It's going to be in Florida, Southwest Florida, where we spend over half the year. Beautiful, beautiful area. And it's going to be 3.5 days, almost 4 days. And we do every day. There's mastermind sessions. So there's prompts to take you through. We a small group setting. We give you the questions to think about. A lot of it's vision, a lot of it's goals, a lot of it's aspirations. And it's really trying to figure out 3 years down the road, what does your life look like? Not guessing. It's not goals. It's how do you intentionally create the life that you want? And I created a website for this. We'll share that link at the end for those who are interested. I recorded a video of what that actually means to me. But literally everything in my life right now, I credit to this. Like, this is what drove me forward to do bigger things. I don't naturally have a whole ton of ambition. I get to a point, I'm like, yeah, I'm good, until I surround myself with people doing really cool things and say, man, maybe I should push myself a little bit more. Maybe I should get to that next level. Or I sit in the room with someone with a really cool vision. I'm like, man, that's really cool. I think I'm going to adopt some of that. Maybe that's part of my vision in the future as well. So June 16th through 19th, Vivid Vision Mastermind. It is your 3-year out goal. This could be business, or it's going to be heavy focus on business. But if you are, a lot of couples come to this, and there's one business owner, entrepreneur, breadwinner, and there's maybe one that's not as focused. Both usually get something out of this. Usually it might be family, dynamics, or relationship driven as well. But the same thing could help for both of you. So come alone, come as a couple, come with friends. Very, very limited seating here. That QR code, and we'll give you the link at the end as well, because we're going to give away a gift card to credit to attend this at the end from our leaderboard winners from last month as well. But anyway, super excited about that. Some of you on here attended some masterminds. I see some people on here. Alicia was on. She went to a mastermind with us. Davis was on. Davis went to a mastermind with us. Let's see who else is in here. I'm going to see. Can I pull someone on here?
Definitely, you can.
That would be awesome.
How do I even invite someone?
Oh, you can just stay in top of them, and then you right click.
Davis, Davis, are you on, man?
It.
Davis, there you go. All right, we'll figure out how to invite people on as guests.
So you can. There are 3 dots. If you left click it.
Casey, I see your comment here. I think I can add you. Are you willing to hop on for like 5 seconds and just share the last mastermind that you went experience? I'm gonna invite you anyways. I hope you're not somewhere where you can't pop on. But let's invite Casey. Casey and Martin attend our last mastermind as well. And let's see if we can invite you to the studio there. All right, Casey, if you're able to hop on, I think you got to accept that invite. Jules, I'm going to invite you because you were on the last one as well. So one of you.
Ooh, Amelia said me.
Where is Amelia? I got to find
Amelia Holman. You want me to invite her?
Yeah, go ahead and invite Amelia on.
Okay, so whoever we send gets an invite, it's going to pop up. You click it, and then it's going to ask you to type your name, I think, again, and then you will be in. I think, Casey is right here.
There's Casey. Perfect. Casey, you are on. What's up, Casey?
Everybody. Hey, guys. Good to see you. Hi, Omni.
Hey, great seeing you. So you were on our last mastermind. I just heard you and Martin are coming to our next mastermind as well. So was that the first travel mastermind you went on?
Yes, right, in Mykonos.
Yeah, so for someone that's never been to a travel mastermind that's like several days, like what did you expect, or like what did you actually get out of that?
It was not a disappointment by any means. We talked about everything in a group setting, individual setting. There was a lot of conversation that happened after the meetup. Dinner time, we ate together. We had some fun things that we did in town, in the area. I know for this session, you're planning something on an island.
So it's in Florida, and then so there's islands in Florida that we're going to be traveling to as well. So really, really cool spot for sure.
Yeah, it's a lot of bonding. And I would say the one thing that I was really left with above and beyond the mastermind was the connections and the people that we met. We've stayed in touch. We've continued to get together. Sometimes we get together and it's just a bonfire and a chili cook-off. Other times we get together and we're talking about business and, we're helping with real estate transactions and how to and sharing documents. So it's really helped in all ways with our family, our husband and wife relationship. I attended with my husband, Martin, and it was holistic.
Love it. So Casey is a rock star. Her husband is Martin. They're going to be on our next mastermind in Florida. So if you guys want to get to know them, reach out, connect with them. They're awesome. They do some amazing things in real estate investing. But I appreciate you sharing a little bit here today. And I found Amelia. I just added you. Did you hide Amelia, or you have a minute? Amelia, you still there? All right. If she comes back, we'll chat before we move on to our next topic here. But thank you, Casey. Good seeing you. All right. Well, oops. There we go.
Oh, no.
Can you hear me? Amelia, how are you?
I can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
I'm trying to fix my audio. I'm sorry.
All right. Maybe we'll bring her in at the end if we have some time. Thanks, Amelia. We'll try and bring you in again at the end. So
We're back.
We are so
Perfect.
back.
All right. We're back.
I'm
All right,
checking
so
the
super excited. So like I said, this is the first time that we've opened it up to the Cashflow Breakfast Club, and you on this webinar are the first ones to hear about that. We'll try to do at least one of these stateside per year. And then we do international ones. Obviously, the international ones are much more expensive, but we try to run these as a break-even event that you guys are getting a lot of value from. But let's go into some of our topics for today. So we talked about trying to share some of the resources. We create some resources. I love building calculators. Last time we talked about inflation. We talked about how that affected the price of the values of properties going up over time. And I like to take some unique takes that I don't usually see out there, and then created a calculator, and I put it on our Cashflow Breakfast Club website for you guys to see and use. But what I want to do is show, let's see here. Are we seeing the screen yet? Not yet. I'm going to, all right, I'm going to share my screen. Inflation adjusted mortgage calculator. Perfect. All right, I think we're seeing our screen. Carlos, can we see the screen?
Just see white. Can you confirm if you guys can see our screen? I don't see it.
Nothing yet.
No.
All right, let me try to share screen again.
Yep. Yeah. Everybody's seeing the same thing that we're seeing right now is white. So maybe you can let's just close it and just try to like share it again.
Okay. Let me close it and share it again here.
Yeah.
Let me kick from studio. I think it's because we had too many guests on and those options went away. All right. Inflation adjusted. Not showing up yet. There we go. All right.
Okay. Perfect.
There we go. Okay.
There we go.
All right. So I like talking about inflation a lot. It's funny. People think I am a history buff. I'm not a history buff. I actually don't, care too much about history. Don't ask me about the Civil War. Don't ask me about dates and things like that. But there's one thing that I study more than anything else, and it's the history of money. I'm obsessed with understanding how money works, understanding the history of money. I can go down a whole tangent on Bretton Woods Accords and various things that affected our dollar specifically today, yen carry trade. So we're not going to get that deep into those things today, but it really helps me to understand how to think about money and how investing works and investing, the problems that it causes, and what certain types of investing does for us. So here's a calculator I've been working on, and we added it to our website, cashflowbreakfastclub.com. If you go to resources here, and then you just click on this inflation adjusted mortgage calculator. And so we've all seen a mortgage calculator before, but this is an inflation adjusted mortgage calculator, because one of the questions I get quite often is, should I pay off my mortgage? All right, let's put it in the chat there. And there's pros and cons to paying off your mortgage. So if you had a property today, and there's no one right answer for everyone, but you had a property today, whether it's a rental property, whether it's your primary residence, and you're, I don't know, 10 years in, maybe 15 years in, and you're thinking through, should I keep this mortgage? Let's say it's 5% or 6% or something along those lines. Should I pay off my mortgage, or should I keep my mortgage? Right? Go ahead and answer your comments. What are you guys doing? Paying off your mortgage, keeping your mortgage? If you want to give your justification why you're doing either of those. But we're Tanya, this is cashflowbreakfastclub.com on the resources site is where you're going to be able to find this. But I'll show you this right as well. So Alicia, it depends on the current interest rate. Yep. Let's just say it's a 5% interest rate, right? Which is a little bit better than what you got right now. But thinking through, why are we paying off the mortgage? The number one reason a lot of people think about paying off their mortgage is you get a mortgage, and what you see right here is, all right, here's an example. Let's just say we bought a property in 1996. In the calculator, you can put any date you want. Let's just say, for simple math, we bought a $125,000 property, put 20% down, 6% interest rate. So it's a $100,000 loan, right? Simple math for this quick example, which is $600 a month, which is $7,000 and some change per year that you're paying in a total payment. And over that 30 years, principal and interest, you're paying $215,000 total for that $125,000 property, which is $115,000 in interest. So you see this number, you're paying 115% of that loan. You borrowed $100,000, you're paying $115,000 in interest. That sounds insane, right? And on it, just on itself, with no other factors, that's actually pretty insane. Why would anyone do that? And you can play around with this with 5% or 4% or 6%, or I bought this last year, or I bought this 50 years ago. But here's what it does. So we took the CPI of every year since 1971. 1971 is when the U.S. took its dollar off the gold standard. At some point, we'll do a whole thing as why that happened and what led up to that. And then that's really when we start to see a lot of inflation. So this goes back to 1971. Any home bought after 1971. And took the CPI and the inflation index and adjusted it and said, okay, if I bought this today for $125,000 cash, as an example, that's the example. What is the purchasing power of $125,000 cash in 1996 in this example? And then every single year, that purchasing power goes down a little bit based on inflation. So right here, it shows you there was 2.95% inflation in 1996, and you paid $7,194 that year, principal and interest, and it was worth $7,994 before inflation. Then a whole year of inflation goes by of 2.95%. The next year you paid the exact same amount, but it was only worth $7,000. Next year you paid the exact same amount, only worth $6,900. You keep going down, and towards the end, it's only worth $3,400. So you may have heard me say before, you're buying an asset today, but you're paying for it with cheaper dollars in the future. That's the key. Think about that. The dollars are cheaper in the future. The dollars will always be cheaper in the future. Today's dollar that you're spending is the most expensive dollar you will ever have. It will get cheaper in the future because of inflation, whether it's 1%, 2%, 10%, 20% cheaper. I believe inflation we're going through a increased inflation right now for various reasons. I believe it's going to continue to increase. And I believe it's higher than what they're actually reporting. So we're using this based off of consumer price index. I actually believe it's higher than that, but that's the only data that we actually have. So here in real numbers, it shows you that sure, you paid $215,000 total for that loan. Actually, after you adjust for inflation dollars every single year, independently of that 30-year mortgage, you actually paid $157,000. Now, you still paid something. You borrowed $100,000. You paid back that $100,000. You still had $57,000 of interest that you paid inflation adjusted interest. And so the nominal inflation was 6% in that example, but it was really 3.29%. And then based on actual appreciation data over that period of time, it says your home was probably worth $536,000 in 2025 if you kept it that full 30 years, right? So it shows you what you actually gained, inflation adjusted numbers. So we'll pull a couple more dates in here. Let's just say this was 1971 when the chart started, and you bought something for the same price and it was 6% interest. It might have been a little bit more, a little bit less. So we see how extreme that gets. We saw the inflation really start to take off there, right? It really started to take off. And basically the dollar became less and less and less drastically over that period of time. We had inflation rates of 4 or 5 consistently in some of those areas, 11%, 6% inflation in some of those areas. And so what this shows you is, do I sell this home? Should I have paid this mortgage off sooner? Let's say it's 1990. You're thinking through, should I pay this mortgage off? What this shows you is you're going to pay $215,000 for that $100,000 loan, principal and interest back over 30 years. But because of inflation, it's only going to be worth, what you pay over a 30-year period is only worth $99,000. So you literally are doing 0% interest over that period of time. And it's just insane to kind of think through. So if you are thinking about a date that is, all right, more recent, 2018, 30 years out, hasn't happened yet, obviously. 2018, we had decent interest rates. Let's say you got a, 3.5% interest rate in 2018. You bought that same price property. I don't know where you're buying that $125,000 property. Those areas exist, but for simple math, we're going to keep it there. And your mortgage payment goes down because of the lower interest rate. Over that period of time, you should be spending $161,000 principal and interest to pay back that $100,000 loan. But once you adjust for inflation and you're paying with future dollars after inflation, it's like paying $104,000, which is your $100,000 back plus $4,000 of interest over 30 years. So it's like less than 0.5% interest on this. So, and your home value, these are just projecting out, beyond certain years. Took the last 10 years. What was the average appreciation? What was the average inflation? And surely, obviously that might not be exact over that period of time, but we're just projecting. We'll keep that updated. So what do you do with this information? I don't know. I just like having this information because you can kind of gauge through and it helps you make decisions, because even myself seeing like, man, that mortgage, yeah, it doesn't make sense. Maybe it should pay it off. Makes me feel good. I was sharing this with my wife first and she's like, I don't like it. Like I like paid off mortgages. She doesn't like risk. She doesn't like debt. She doesn't like a lot of things. And she was saying, I understand this, but paid off mortgage still makes me feel good. And that's completely okay. So I'm not saying that that's wrong. I'm just saying it's another way to look at it through actual data, historical data of what does it actually mean. And if I can buy an asset today at the most expensive it's ever going to be, not just price wise, but dollar wise, the dollar today, the price of the asset today, but buy it with future dollars that I can almost guarantee will be cheaper. Do that. That's the better option. So it's thinking through on a whole nother level there. So Carlos, Victoria, any thoughts on this?
Yes, let me go first. I'll try to actually let the group.
No, you go first. I want to hear it.
So I love it because this is a reaffirmation what we mentioned multiple times within the Cash Professionals Club sessions. This is a long-term game. This is not 100 meters. This is more like a marathon. And unfortunately, like we are not normal. Like you mentioned one time, if we spend like one night a month going to a place and just networking, connecting and learning. A lot of people are not doing that. Like the regular, if you're gonna talk with anyone outside, most of the people still believe that Dave Ramsey strategy, which is like 15-year paid off, and you have a property which is, by the way, I've been talking with multiple alternatives. Like it cannot be anything more liable to have like a payoff house. That's horrible. They were telling me like if someone gets sued and they I mean, I'm not an attorney. They are, and we go there and check they have like a payoff house, like like this is a jackpot. If you have someone that have like 80% LTV loan, oh my God, there is not much meat in the bone. I'm not saying they're not gonna try to come after you, but it's a lot more less tempting if the property is already paid off. So number one is a lot liability. Number two, it makes no sense based on the number that you just explained to us, and it's something that if this is a cash flowing asset, at the end of the day, the tenant is paying for the mortgage, and then we just get the benefits besides a cash flow and taxes, depreciation, and everything that we'll discuss. So it's great. And I had a conversation this morning with someone recently. They're telling like the newer generation, they don't want to buy houses. I'll let Victoria mention about that, but people, they don't want to buy properties right now because they're scared of, oh my God, this is the worst time. I've been talking to people that bought properties in 1970s, and there was never a good time. If you see the graph that you showed last month, 1980, the interest rate was like 18.5%. And they were like, oh, and I was like, man, you bought a house for 120. I said, yeah, but 18%. And then the income was a lot less than what it is right now. So it's never a great time to buy. It's always going to be risk and hesitation. But if you play this, and I mentioned multiple times, I never met an real estate investor that kept a house for 5, 10, 15 years that never make money. And this is a proof that you can see for us, there are visuals that definitely we are not crazy. We are playing the right game because it's a long game. Victor.
Yeah, no, great
beautiful.
take. And if you guys have questions, type it in or raise your hand. And if you guys want to come on and ask, you can do that as well. But Brent, yeah, I saw that less than 3%. Keep it. I agree. I would agree at 4%, 5%, maybe even 6%. Not to say if the rates go down later that you don't refinance.
Mhm.
So absolutely, but it's
But
a
if it's
discussion
cash
of
flowing, it's
whatever
cash
mortgage you are paying today versus paying it off. The pros and cons of doing that. If I'm 10 years into a mortgage and I'm saying, man, it's $190,000. I got this $190,000. Should I just pay it off? Now, if you're doing nothing with that $190,000 for 10 years, okay, that's a waste as well. But you're probably not on this webinar planning to do nothing with $190,000. Hopefully you're thinking about, how do I invest that somewhere? How do I invest it in somewhere that's getting me cash flow? So compared to that, plus I pay $190,000 today, even though that is deflated money in terms of valuation from 10 years ago. It is the most expensive money you will ever have in your possession moving forward. It'll be so much more valuable than $190,000 that you're paying out, over that 30-year period. So if I can look at this calculator and project out that, man, it's really going to be a 2%, 3% rate over that time period, even though I'm paying 6% because of inflation, could I beat that? Could I beat that with some sort of investment? And the answer is, yeah, you could probably beat that. You buy a good cash flow property, go put it somewhere and make some money and beat that inflation. Tanya, so is it better to have a mortgage? This is not financial advice, but yes, I believe it's better to have a mortgage. There's a couple things there. One, in terms of you don't pay cash now, which is the most expensive now, versus future less valuable dollars. And also what Carlos mentioned as well, asset protection. We talk about asset protection typically once a year in the Cash Flow Breakfast Club. And, people talk about LLCs, various structures. We cover that. But the simplest way to protect yourself is to make sure you don't own something free and clear in cash. Like that is exactly what Carlos mentioned. If someone's going to be suing you, and it's free and clear in cash, it's you become an easy target. They can sue you and win if you're liable for whatever you want. But if you have a mortgage on the property, you don't actually own the property. There's nothing to take from you. If you own it free and clear in cash, someone sues you, the court can say, yeah, you got to liquidate that property and pay out as well. Once again, not legal advice, not asset protection advice, but from my experience, a mortgage that is paid for through positive cash flow, right? Paid for through positive cash flow is far better than anything else. So that's one calculator.
Something really quick before we let Victoria, because I want to hear her. This tool can save so many deals and so many marriages, because usually there is husband and wife or like partners, and one is more like aggressive and the other one, I don't know, we should like pay everything off, we should play safe. So this one, you put it in paper, like look, the numbers don't lie. This is the play. And again, I think someone has, it's better to have a mortgage. I'm with all night. If you say cash flowing properties, the tenants are paying it, definitely you play with house money. So Victoria, so what are the sense in the new generation? I know you have a lot of those that come in your way in terms of like buying property. How they look there? Because like sometimes like for us, like we are in the like I'm not saying we're old, but we're mature generation. So in your case, how does that work?
Experience. I just also want to just accentuate Juliana Estrada's comments, my amazing mother, but it's just so true. And it just shapes how important it is to have a parent's perspective and thoughts into your child and feeding it. Because when kids are growing up thinking, oh my gosh, this is so much money, we have to pay rent, because usually they're on the tenant side and they're like, this is so bad. And then you're going to go to college and you're going to get debt, but that college is good debt because then you're going to get a job, but a home's bad debt and that's going to be terrible. And I'm going to be in, if I ever buy a house, you're going to have so much debt and you're going to pay mortgage for the rest of your life. What are you going to do with inflation? This is going to be terrible. But if you were raised with parents, i.e., my mother's saying, keep the mortgage if possible and use the equity with the home equity line of credit to invest it in more real estate, you truly understand there's so much growth in this. So I've had a lot of clients recently where they were having, there's this joke in the new generation where you have to like win the lottery to buy a house. That's the only way you could ever possibly have enough money to buy a house. And I've been telling the strategy to other clients that I have, just single family individuals who have W-2 paying jobs. And I'm like, use your primary conventional loan, use it, put only 3 to 5% down, live in it for a year, and then repeat. And they're like, I can do that. And then I'm like, yeah, and then rent it out. And they're like, they're willing to pay the amount that is my mortgage. And I'm like, yeah, if not more with the right property, obviously. But let's start with something that's on the lower end. And then after that, just buy something that's slightly more in the price point, and then something more and something more and something more. And then in 5 years, you'll have 5 homes. And they're like, oh my goodness, I never thought this was possible. And it was as if I told them the golden nugget secret. They're like, I can do that. And I'm like, yeah, in about 5 to 6 years, you're going to have 4 to 5 or even 6 homes. And they're like, they're willing to do that. They have no other chains. No one's holding them down. No wife and kids that they have to explain, honey, we're moving again. We're moving all the things again. Please don't hate me. No pets or anything like that. It's just them. And if anything, during that 1 year, they could then just charge someone else for the room because they're just using one room, which is something that my client's doing right now in Kannapolis. And they're just using that again and again and abusing their first time, either their first time home loan or their primary conventional loan that can be used as well. So I think that it's something that just has to be placed into seeds by just Amna and my father teaching it, but also just knowing it and spreading the word. A lot of people didn't really trust them because they're like, oh, those real estate gurus, are you sure? I don't know. And then I showed them how to actually do it, and now they're just mind blown and they realize that they can do this again and again. So it's just by education.
I love that. Thank you. And it's not just your generation. My generation, I remember the same thing. Like no one, like how are we gonna buy a home? Like didn't even, like before I bought our home, I had no idea. Like how much did I need to save up? 20-30%. I was so uneducated. There's more education out there now, but there's still a lot of misnomers. You can absolutely buy a home with low down payment, especially if you're gonna go do that house hack route. I had no concept. I lived on an island, literally lived on an island. So the idea of buying anything not on that island was like I didn't even know that was legal. Could I buy something in Georgia? I had no idea. Like I had no idea. And so most people are not thinking about that, right? So for realizing that I can afford $100,000 home versus a $500,000 home, there's none of that existed, 20 plus years ago when I started investing in Hawaii. So having to figure out where to go in the market, specifically the cash flow. We'll talk about finding those off-market deals and things like that. But yeah, great concepts. If you guys have questions, continue to put them in the chat. Happy to kind of bring in and chat about anything else, but specifically about this. But let me just bring that up on the screen one more time. I want to show you a few people asked about it. Where we finding this is this cashflowbreakfastclub.com. I think my assistant put it in the tab. You go to resources page. It's all free to use. I think you got to log in. So you got to create an account if you don't have an account. So you have a cash flow calculator. We'll show a demo of that one on one of these. There's a rapid rehab calculator, a 1031 exchange calculator, financial freedom snowball calculator, hierarchy of leads calculator, active real estate investor business calculator. What we talked about last month, understanding how money works, inflation versus real estate over time. I put that on there. Inflation adjusted mortgage calculator, and we have about 4 more calculators that we're developing right now. We'll be adding more and more every single month. So hopefully you guys could see value and show up and take a look at those whenever you need questions answered. All right.
Yeah. Something really quick to make sure. If you go, you have to log in, definitely. So if you guys don't log in, but you can log in through with your Google account or any account. I mean, or you can just sign in to the site, and then once you do that, you will be having access, because I have some comments, direct comment that say that they didn't find it, and I will check it. Yes, without logging in, you will not be able to get in. I mean, you will not see it. Like a blank.
Yeah. Go ahead and log in. It's free to log in. The one quick announcement I mentioned this in the beginning. So when we do these webinars, we're going to give the prizes away for the winners who participated in last month's leaderboard. Every single month, we're collecting points. You guys are telling us what you're doing. We had a lot of people submit last month. We'll pull the top 15 people. Then we'll give away some random prizes from amongst those people as well. Some really cool prizes. So every single month, show up to this webinar. That's where we're going to announce them. But today, we're not going to do this every single time. Every single person on this webinar at the end will get a prize. So hold out for the end. We'll make sure that we'll reward you for showing up today as well. But one of the topics that we get a lot, Carlos and I talk multiple times a week. We're in various masterminds together, various discussions, and no matter your real estate investing strategy, money's one of the topics. We'll talk about that, as well. But really finding the deal. Where are you finding the deal? And I think the market's shifting a little bit. I've been feeling it shift for the last year or so, and I think it's going to shift even more. But still, finding the deal is extremely important. Ideally, finding off-market deals, but still buying on market as well. Everyone, put in the chat. Think about your last deal that you bought. Where did you get your last deal? Was it on the MLS? Was it via an agent? Was it from a wholesaler? Was it from your mom? Like, where did it come from? Put in there the source of your last deal. If you are someone that does, more than one deal a year, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 deals a year, then give us some insight on like the highest number. Maybe not your last deal, but out of the last 10, the majority of them came from this source. So I'm going to take a minute, put in your last deal, where you bought your last deal on, and comment in the chat what sources you guys are seeing in there. My chat's frozen, or they're not participating.
No, they're not participating.
They don't want to share. They don't want to share.
I got some gold nuggets. I'm not going to share. Put in the chat. Martin, I know you guys bought a deal. Where'd you guys find your deal? Come on, Casey. Put it in there.
Prices at the end.
New home builder, the referral. Thank you,
referral.
Shree.
Yes.
Shree's playing the game a little here. All right.
I love sub 2.
Wholesaler. I love it. Thank you, Casey. Wholesaler. I love it. Awesome. Alicia from a friend. Thank you. Love it. So networking from friend, wholesaler, MLS.
Juan Castro, MLS.
Love it. MLS, house hacking queen. Green. Is that house hacking queen green? Elena, is that you? Please comment. I love the name.
Don't you say my last
amazing
deal,
real estate agent, which happens to be your daughter. Love it.
Yeah.
Awesome.
My last deal was from an open house, but I met an owner. I have only one deal. Tonya, all of us start with one deal. So great for you.
So Victoria and Carlos, where are your deals coming from? You guys are sourcing a lot of leads, right? Trying to get those deals under contract. Where are you guys getting most of your leads from right now in your business?
Yeah, so that's what I wanted to touch this topic, because I think we're going through something that we are not the only ones, and that's what I like your approach, because like we put a lot of a lot of answers like wholesalers, MLS, but something that I would like you to get into a little bit later. We're gonna answer the question obviously, is how you strategize to like have like multiple sources and you work them all at the same time, because some of them start giving fruits and some of them dry up. In our case, we've been having we doing a lot of prospecting. We've been like door knocking and call calling, but reality, we've been getting our deals through wholesalers and through the MLS. But we are looking to get like more off market deals, and then and I know like a lot of people that go through our club and going through the same thing. Like we are like trying to go to the same wholesalers, and then obviously like I mean, everybody obviously want to have a great deal and go through the MLS, like properties that have been sitting there for a long time, and then try to see if something that work for us. So those have been the sources so far. I'll let Victoria if she has any other answer besides that. But we've been like actively like you looking for all the sources, because I remember like one of the contents in the Cash for Breakfast Club is you need to get 100 deals analyzed study, and then 10 make sense and you get one. Sometimes we forget about that. Like if we put only like 2-3 offers and nothing comes, we get discouraged in my group, because I've been going through like that multiple times, and instead of knowing this is a numbers game. So Victoria.
For leads, one thing that has really helped me is that my firm is also a very strongly investor-based firm. So when I joined them, I was getting access because a lot of wholesalers, to be in my firm, you quite literally have to either have your own investment properties, do new construction, be a wholesaler. Like you have to be in the game to actually be able to teach it to other people. So in our firm group chat, we would have in the group chat wholesalers send their deals before they even sent it out to their lists. And I remember one good one that we had recently was one in Gastonia where um, I was actually showing a property in Gastonia. It's a traditional buyer. And then I got a text saying, hey, in the group chat saying, hey, I have this home. It has an ADU. It has this much lot. First come, first serve, whoever wants it. And it was like 3 minutes from the house. So I was like, oh my God, thank you so much. They didn't want to submit an offer. I was like, okay, great, bye. And then I just went to like go see the deal. And then we took it immediately and it was a rock star deal. But it's just having those connections. And how did I get so close to these people? Going to events. Events was a really strong one for me. I didn't know anyone when we first moved here. And I think we had a time where we went to every single event possible and I talked to people and you recognize the same amount of people. And obviously they're going to not give you a rockstar deal immediately, but they're going to trust you. And just by responding to their leads, even if it's bad, you respond to them anyways, and they slowly trust you more and more. But through that gateway as well. But as my father said, we don't want to just, if all the wholesalers in the world decide, hey, we're not going to send you deals, we're like, oh, well, we're screwed. That's not going to happen. So now we're looking for other active prospecting things such as door knocking, which I thought was going to be terrifying. But people here in the South are so nice and they're so sweet and they're already outside mowing their lawns. So that was also really fun. Cold calling is not my favorite. I find that I'm much more a face-to-face individual. So my dad's like, would you rather cold call or door knock? And I'm like, door knock. Any day of the week, I would gladly door knock. So that's not a
I got a
gift that
picture
guy
from your
gave me.
dad, maybe last week or the week before when you guys were out door knocking. Love it. You guys canvass the whole neighborhood. Yeah, those are great sources. They're still MLS deals, you're right, but you got to make the right offers on those. And Brent actually made a comment here that the new construction, most new construction homes for sale are not on the MLS. Like if a builder puts a home on the MLS, they might put one on the MLS. They might have 30 homes, right? And
Yes.
and you going to the builder, think about this. They have the inventory. They had the plan 2, 3, 4, 5 years ago to build all that inventory. And the market was different 5 years ago. And now the market shifted, or maybe it shifted in your market, and they might be more desperate. They still have a pricing goal, pricing plan, but they might be. So I've negotiated directly with builders completely different prices than what they're advertising because they just need to move something just to recoup some of their capital. They usually have shorter term construction type financing and lower loans, so it might help them to sell one not exactly at what they're hoping for. So you can find deals sometimes through new construction as well. But yeah, love it. Everything you guys mentioned is what we talk about in the Cash Flow Breakfast Club. We do an hour plus session on this every single year in every single club. But the 4 categories by far: networking, real estate professional outreach, online attraction, and direct to seller. We're not going to get into each of these in detail today, but you guys covered it. Networking is by far my number one source. I tell everyone that I meet what I'm buying, what I'm looking for. I try to find out and listen to what they're buying, what they're looking for. I send deals all the time. I think I text Carlos last week, hey, a deal got sent to me. It's not what I'm looking for, but I think it's a market he's looking in, and sent it to him, right? So if I know what you're looking for, I'm thinking about, hey, maybe that deal comes across my desk. I might share it with you. And then hopefully they're doing the same thing for me. I'm looking for something unique. So networking, that's why the Cash Flow Breakfast Club is so important. That's why we expand the Cash Flow Breakfast Club. We want this to be a massive network when you guys come on here. And we're pretty close to finishing up our school, our free school platform where you guys can connect online there as well. Make some connections, build some networks. You want to start investing in certain markets, go connect with those people in those markets and build out that platform as well. But by far, number one, if you're not doing number one, like everything else is just so much harder. It's so much less effective. But the next most effective for me is real estate professional outreach. Real estate professional outreach, which is a form of networking, but it is networking with those new construction builders, networking with and connecting with and reaching out to and interviewing the property managers, interviewing the real estate agents, the investor real estate agents. Every time we go to a new market, my wife and I go tour homes and we call agents to go tour homes. And we don't get one agent to show us 10 homes. We get 10 agents to show us 10 homes because we want to see those homes, but we want to meet 10 agents. And we're interviewing them. We don't need an agent necessarily. I want an investor agent, and I want to figure out, are they investing? Do they understand how to find an off-market deal? Do they understand? Will they provide me lead flow? There's nothing more frustrating than just seeing an agent and now you got his auto MLS email and you're like, I got that. It's called Zillow. It's called Redfin. I got that already. Sending out those emails are not really that valuable anymore. I want someone that understands finding those off market. So we talk to literally almost 10 agents every time we go to a new market and we're actually exploring. And usually one of those agents becomes our go-to agent for deals. And we're very clear on what we buy and ideally off market. But real estate professional outreach, property managers is another big one for me. I'm always calling property managers, introducing myself, figuring out, are they the right fit for us to work together? Because if you think about it, a property manager, I buy rental properties, they manage rental properties. And every once in a while, the properties that they're managing, those landlords get tired of being landlords. And then the first person to hear about it is the property manager. Because that property manager needs to pull the P&Ls, the T12s, all the financials to get in order so that they can provide it to their agent to start to market this. And I say, hey, if anyone asks you for that, one, if they sell those properties, you're probably losing a client because they're going to sell it to someone else that has their own property manager, or going to sell them one at a time to someone else, maybe that they're going to manage it themselves or maybe move in. But if you make an introduction and I buy that property, or particularly in my case, the portfolio, I'll keep it with you. All right. So I incentivize them. And then online attraction, we talk about this in class. Don't have time to go over this today, but social media, definitely reaching out and having a presence online and directly reaching out in specialty groups, real estate groups about investing is really good for lead generation. I taught this class about a month ago to a brokerage, and literally someone texted me the next day and she's like, I can't believe it worked. She copied the text that I said to send out there, and she got leads the very next day from that text in this Facebook group that she put out there. And then direct to seller as well. So I see wholesaler. Yes, wholesaler is real estate professional outreach. So wholesaler is a real estate professional that's like an agent, but there's someone that they don't help someone buy or sell a home. They get the home under contract and they sell their rights to that contract. I buy from wholesalers all the time. A lot of the deals I come from are wholesaling that I meet through networking, but primarily real estate professional outreach. So we just want to bring this front and center. These are working. I would say direct to seller is working a little bit less. I'm doing less of it now, a little bit less. Maybe that's saturated, but the networking and the real estate professional outreach by far, maybe 80% of the deals that come across my desk are through these two categories. I can probably never do online attraction again, never do direct to seller again. And I would have the network where I can get enough deals to meet my goals. Obviously, starting out, you might want to do all four of them, but everything that works right now falls into one of these four categories. So that's it. Once again, we will cover that in the next Cash Flow Breakfast, or one of the Cash Flow Breakfast clubs, in every single club there. But any final comments on this topic, Victoria, Carlos, or anyone else in the chat? If you guys have questions or comments, feel free to chime in.
Yes, please. If you have any question or comment, please put it in the chat. When I got my real estate license many years ago, I remember one of the instructors was saying, like, a lot of you guys are secret agents. Like, nobody knows you're real estate agents. And that happened the same with investors. We are secret investors. Nobody knows we're an investor. So I have a great story. And I interviewed someone in my podcast. As a matter of fact, he lives in St. Pete. I don't know if you got a chance to talk to him. Yeah, he's part of our mastermind. His name is Grant Warrington. And then and he was telling me, and I'll make the introduction. He was telling me, like, Carl, I think he was living in Michigan when whatever Jamie Gruber used to live. I think it was Michigan. He said, I was tired. I wanted to move out of there, but I realized I was going to be able to move if I find like a 29-unit property. He ran on the numbers. If a 29-unit property is what will make me move. So what did I did? That was. I mean, he was telling me. I was telling everybody. I was telling the girl in the supermarket. I was telling the doctor office. I was telling the dentist. Everybody. And he said, after like 6 months, guess what? I was at a doctor appointment. I told this. He was telling everybody. Like, everybody was talking to. I'm looking for a 29 unit. He said, I went to a doctor's office appointment. I told him, like, I was telling everybody. And then guess what? The guy called me after. One of my patients came and they said they have a 29 unit property that they wanted to sell. And I remember you mentioned that you wanted. I make the connection. They bought the property, and now he lives in St. Pete. Florida. So he was like, that was the strategy. They're telling every single body. So it goes back to what you mentioned all the time. You have like clear buybacks. This is what I buy, and make sure that you blast it and everybody knows it. And sometimes and I said, sometimes you get nervous. Oh my God, this is not real estate, networking. This is like commercials, family, whatever it is. But you never know what you lead. Like one of the comments say, friend. We said, what do you get your last deal from? Someone said a friend. How many friends of us know someone that has a property that wants to sell? They hear the whole story. I'm so tired. I inherit this property. I'm tired of my tenants. Guess what? If they know that we're looking for it, they will refer it to us. So that's something that I remember when he said it, and I try to practice it. Sometimes not the fullest I should, but that's something that I want to share because a lot of us are secret investors that nobody knows that we're looking for a deal besides ourselves.
I remember when I started out, I had imposter syndrome. I still have imposter syndrome every once in a while, right? You walk into the right room and you're like, man, do I even belong here? But starting out, like, especially when I was trying to buy my first deal, like I didn't want to tell anyone I was an investor because I wasn't yet. But this goes to like one of the lessons we talk about. It's in the book, The Cash Flow Breakfast Club. But we talk about the marathon versus the mile, that concept, right? And there's multiple ways to think that through. But if you're a marathon runner, right, you're not going to show up today and just decide to be a marathon runner. Most people can't do that. They usually got to prep 6 months, a year in advance, a lot of training, a lot of work. And you committing to mentally doing that and going through that prep makes you that marathon runner, even if you haven't run it yet, right? So you are a marathon runner in training. So once again, if you're just starting out as an investor, commit to being the investor. You're running this marathon of getting your first goal, your first deal, and you realize that that's not the actual marathon, but that's your goal right now. You are that marathon runner. Commit to doing that. Don't have imposter syndrome, and tell every single one you're a real estate investor. Here's the next deal I'm looking for. It will absolutely affect your deal flow moving forward. I want to shift to, because we're out of time. So I'm going to take 2 minutes and we're going to give away some prizes. A lot of prizes to give away. So let me just share my screen real quick. Add that to the screen here. All right. So we have some winners and leaderboard from last month, and we're gonna load a bunch of potential winners here. So if you participated, we had a bunch of people submit points last month. We had Mija, which was top there. We had John Bautista. We have Sean. We have Adi. Carlos is on there. Is that cheating? Elna's on there. Jennifer's on there. Martin's on there. Yeah, love it. Brent's on there. DK's on there. Love it. And then based on how many points you got, you're going to get a certain amount of these bingo balls, and it shows you your actual percentage of chance of winning in here. So we got some prizes. Yes.
Before you go, question. A couple of things. One, make sure you participate for be able to win next month. Oh, nice. So you're gonna do it right now. Does the person that wins need to be present in the webinar to win? Or we're gonna keep it going? Or whoever wins, we're gonna be able to reach out.
You don't need to be present, but we'll reach out to you once. And if you don't get our message, we're not reaching out to you again. So if you're present, you'll get your prize right away.
Okay, if you're present. Okay, you have to be present. Okay.
Yes. But anyways, yeah, just submit your form. You're gonna get an email about that. Submit your form this week to get into the running for next month as well. But let's go ahead and do this. So we're going to give away some branded gear to start. So one of my favorite things that I use every single time, it's my gym bag. I have this Cash Flow Breakfast Club gym bag here. I take it everywhere. I take it on travel. I take it everywhere. And one of my favorite sayings, are you playing the right game? It prompts a lot of questions, and you just get into real estate investor discussions with people out there just by standing out, being weird a little bit. So let's go ahead and see who our first winner is.
Let's see.
Najibullah. I probably botched that, but congratulations, Najibullah. Kim is going to reach out or reach out to Kim. She's on here, and give her your contact information so that we can mail you this amazing bag right here. All right. Congratulations. I'm going to give away a signed Cash Flow Breakfast Club book. Signed Cash Flow Breakfast Club book for the next one. If you already have it booked, then you can pick something from a hat or the bag from the store as well. But let's go ahead and pick our next winner. Carlos Amaya. This is rigged.
No, this is rigged. No. Do it again.
You got those books. I'll send you something. but we'll throw in another prize in here just because I feel that was rigged. I don't know how
You
you're
get to
rigging the
choose.
game.
You get to choose,
Yeah.
bro.
All right, so let's do another one here.
We tried multiple times, and my name
This
never
thing's
came
rigged.
out.
This thing's rigged. So my favorite thing to wear, I wear it everywhere. It's my Cashflow Breakfast Club bomber jacket. I have like 8 colors, I believe. Has the Cashflow Breakfast Club on there. Has the "Are you playing the right game?" I get questions and comments about it all the time. I'm pretty sure this helped me buy some deals. Talking to someone on the airplane, leading to you're a real estate investor, you buy deals. So absolutely. So we're going to be giving away those to our next winner here, not named Carlos Amaya. Sean, congratulations, Sean. You were, I think, second or third on the leaderboard. Congratulations, Sean. Reach out to Kim. We need your jacket size and your mailing address to order that and create that for you. All right. So our grand prize winner. So we have the mastermind coming up. We have a very, very fun mastermind coming up next month. We're going to be giving away a $500 gift card towards that travel mastermind or any travel mastermind you want to attend within the Cashflow Breakfast Club. Life-changing experience. So let's go ahead and draw a winner here.
Carlos Amaya.
Not Carlos Amaya. Definitely not. Brent. Congratulations, Brent. Congratulations, Brent. $500 gift card. Would love to see you at a mastermind, whether it's this one or a future one. Reach out to Kim. Please make sure Kim has your contact information so we can get you that gift card and figure out when you want to go on a mastermind. Love it. Thank you, guys. All right. And I promise one more win prize for everyone who decide to stick into the end and play the game with us. So we are actually opening up a $100 coupon for anyone that wants to participate in this. Carlos, can you put that in the chat? In the chat,
Yes, sir.
There's a link to order that, and I believe there is there's a QR code if you guys want to scan, and there is a $100 off coupon. You got to use the code TribeCast100. I believe this works for 1 week. We'll probably be sold out within a week because of the spots. I think we're almost halfway full as we speak. I see a bunch of you already registered. I've been getting notifications for the event. So excited to see you guys there. So scan the QR code or click on the link in the chat if it's clickable. And we'll put that up there as well. So once again, $100 off coupon, TribeCast100. Hopefully it will be impactful. I say a lot of big things, but I'm telling you, this will change your life. My life changed. The very first mastermind that I attended, the very first Vivid Vision mastermind, completely changed. Not like a little bit, not doubled, like 10x changed completely. And every single time I go, it changes my life. So hopefully I convert you to become addicted to these masterminds as well. But that's all we have for today, guys. We ran over 5 minutes. I apologize. We don't have too much time for Q&A. I'll hang on for a few minutes as we kind of wrap up here, as some of you guys are logging off. If there's any other questions, burning questions, put it in the chat or raise your hand and we'll bring you on. I'll hang on for a few more minutes, but I want to be respectful of everyone's time. If you guys need to hop, feel free to hop off. But congratulations to our winners. Please help me thank Carlos Amaya, Victoria Amaya as well. You guys are definitely awesome guest hosts to help us. Give them a round of applause here. Look at that.
You. I love that.
Who knew I
love
had
that
some
so
sound
much.
effects in here. I love it. All right. And I'd love your feedback, please.
Omne has a new toy. Before the feedback.
If you guys attended both of these, I know some of you had some technical issues today. Some of you had technical issues last month. I get it. But please, just your overall experience, viewing experience, all of that. Was this better than Zoom, or was Zoom better than this in terms of the webinar? There's not many great platforms out there. There's one more we might try, but we're going to maybe stick with this one unless we get comments otherwise. But please provide us some feedback there. So thank you, everyone. Appreciate you guys showing up. Next month.
Before
Go
we
ahead.
leave, just make sure that I want to make sure something really quick. The power of the decisions. Sometimes we say, "Oh, you know what? I'll click the link later. I sign up later," and when you realize the opportunity will be gone. The same thing happened with deals. Like Victoria, you shared that when the wholesale, the call, she was there 3 minutes away, and then she went there and secured the deal. So sometimes when you have an event coming up and that is that resistance, like, oh no, I don't have the time, I'm gonna be traveling. I believe me, this is totally worth it. This is something like Omni said will change your life. I mean, I think that God gives so many talents to Omni. He wrote an amazing book. He created all this community, and be able to share and be able to put all those amazing people in one place and have fun at the same time, learn, connect it, and network is an opportunity that rare is not really available most of the time. So now that he opened it for all of us to be able to be part of it, I definitely want to encourage you. If you are in the fence, this is, I don't know, just jump in. I mean, sometimes like the analysis paralysis decide make us not take action. So the power action is what makes the difference, and then you definitely will read the fruits of that as well. I just want to mention that really quick.
If I could, I would do one every single week, probably. My wife would just say no, though. Like, she won't even let me do it once a month, because it takes a lot of time, a lot of energy. She gets frustrated with me leading up to it because everything needs to be perfect. But just the amount of impact that this 2, 3, 4 days will have on you is tremendous. So hopefully we'll definitely see you there, and you'll love it for sure. Anyways, so, if you guys have questions,
also we don't want to kick you out. If you guys have any question, we have a couple more minutes to stay here. Just raise your hand or let us know. We'll bring you in, and or any comments. We'll love some feedback, like Omni said. So who wants to be in camera and add your question? And I can guarantee your question might be something that a lot of people are thinking at the same time, and I might not be asking it. So any questions, we are here. We're gonna be here for a little bit more.
Yeah, love it. Tanya, I see you want to attend. Go ahead and scan the QR code or click on the link, reserve your spot. I think 4 people signed up, or 5 people actually signed up during this session. We might have a max, I think, about 4 or 5 more seats after that, I believe. So I got to take a look at it. So yeah, it's a small intimate group. You'll love it there. Brent, love it. Congratulations. You got the coupon. You can't make it in this one, but we'll hopefully get you at the next one, and we'll let you know when that's scheduled. Yeah, if you guys have questions, we'll hang out for just a few more minutes.
Victoria, do you have any question for Omni?
Do I have questions for Omni?
Of course, this is your time. This is your opportunity. While we have another volunteer, because you have to break the ice.
Of course, Dad's going to put her on the spot. Look at that.
Of course, that's me. That's my
does
job.
That. It's literally always. Questions for Omni. What do you think is the gift that you were given to change the world? I'm curious.
Yeah, I think that's evolved over time. Initially, my gift of focus, of just brute focus to get to my goals. I think that was my learning phase, and I got really good at focus. I ate ramen. I literally was borderline homeless sometimes. I cut my expenses drastically and sacrificed drastically to be able to spend every dime on real estate, when I was in the building phase. So my ability to focus, and then now that helps me to use it as a lesson learning tool. And I think I'm being called to teach and to mentor. That's where I get the most joy right now. So I think the gift changes over time, but my ability I feel very self-conscious about speaking. I feel very self-conscious about just presenting. It's not what's comfortable for me, but I feel very lit up by doing it. So definitely love these conversations, love helping people one-on-one and small groups as well. From a technical standpoint, I'm really good at analyzing deals. I'm really good at creatively structuring deals. I love math. I love everything that's on a spreadsheet. I could just make it dance and maybe look at it in a way that someone else doesn't do it. So, but that all came with experience. I didn't start out that way, right? So just putting in the reps has helped me get to that next level. But yeah, appreciate the question. All right, guys.
I have another.
Go ahead.
Please. I want you guys to answer any question. Please let us know who won, and we bring you up to the stage. So we discussed, and like you mentioned, we talk multiple times the week, and I'm really grateful for that. And one of our conversations, you mentioned that finding deals and opportunity next year in the market, the way the trend is going might be easier because people get a lot more nervous, the economy and everything. And so I want you to mention about that. How do you see? Obviously, we don't have the crystal ball. Like before 2020, I was doing like the shows in the podcast saying that the curve was going down because all the pre-foreclosures, and then COVID happens and market explodes. I was telling people we're gonna have a correction, but we should, and then it did not happen. So nobody knows what's gonna happen in the next 6 months or a year. But based on the trend, how do you see it happening?
Yeah, no, it's a great question. I think of the exact same question Brendan Turner asked me when I was on the Bigger Pocket podcast a few years ago. He's like, this year, like, what do you think? Things are changing this year. I don't remember what year it was. And like, do you think it's a good time to invest? Do you think it's someone just getting into it? I think my answer was something along the lines of, no matter when you start, it's going to suck. Like, you will be at your worst ever the first time you start. And you can start now, or you can start 10 years from now. You're going to suck no matter what. You will be better the next time. So as a brand new investor, it is difficult. Now, hopefully you have a community, you have a coach, you have a mentor to help you through that process. It'll suck less. There'll still be pain for sure. It's a learning curve. You can't get through master level without the learning it takes to get to that master level. So this year was the easiest year for me. It was so easy to find deals. Was that because last year I put in a lot of work, and the year before that I put in a lot of work, and the year before that? Yes. So I understand that my experience and me building the network has made it easier for me. But some of the same things I was doing last year and the year before, are getting easier. And the conversations with the seller specifically, either directly or through a wholesaler or through an agent, has been getting easier because people are nervous. People are like softening. People are feeling like, man, is like, I don't know what's going to happen next year. Who knows what's going to happen next year with prices? And so one, they might be more desperate today. This is obviously market dependent, and I'm finding markets that people are feeling nervous, that I believe in long term in those markets. Could something go down next year or the next 2 years in a certain market? Yes, but my goal is not to buy and sell something within the next year. Is to buy, hold it ideally forever, but making sure it cash flows from day one. So having those conversations with sellers, way more sellers open to creative financing, way more sellers open to structuring deals and partnerships and things like that, just because there's just less opportunities. There's less buyers out there. Some of that's interest rates. Some of that's what's going on with the war. Some of that's just, a lot of things happening that just holding up the market and slowing down a little bit. In some markets. I know there's some markets that are still booming as well, but yes, it is. I believe it's going to get better and better to be a buyer over the next year to year and a half. That's what I feel. That being said, even when it was tough to be a buyer, I still bought homes, right? So you still do the work. It's just a little bit more reps. Instead of, 100 deals, you got to find 150 deals to buy one maybe, but put in the work to go talk to those people and make those offers. But great point.
We have a
Elna,
question.
I saw your.
We have a question. Yes. Go ahead.
What was the question?
Activities and food only. What is about? She's talking about the mastermind.
Yeah. Go to the website. It is 3.5 days of activities. So it is mastermind activities. If you've never been to a mastermind, watch the video in the website that I gave you, and it's like a 9-minute video of me explaining what that is. But we like to travel VIP level. And so whenever we travel, my wife's gift is spending a lot of money on VIP things, and we're leveraging that gift. We get like a private chef at our place to cook us some nice meals. We usually go rent out a catamaran or some sort of private boat for us and do some activities. So there's some bonding activities with everyone in the group. Depending on where it is, this one's going to be in Southwest Florida. So there's some really cool places right next to the water there, and driving to some cool islands nearby that have some shelling stuff. So we have agenda set up over that period of time. So it's activity and mastermind every single day. But yeah, if you go to the website, it'll take a look at that. And then the food and the activities are included in that price. We are getting a couple Airbnbs. If you guys want to go in on an Airbnb, you guys can do that, or get your own hotel. It's in an area where there's lots of accommodation. So watch the video. It'll share more about that as well. Elna, I saw that you have a question about the coupon code. Yes, TribeCast 100 coupon code is available, so you can use that until they are out. Thank you, Brett. I saw a shout out from Brett this month as well. And Elna Brown, house hacking queen, Breen. Elna, we got to chat about that name. I'm not sure if I agree with that or understand it, but anyways. Yes, Elna's been stuck with me for 7 to 9 years. She's been awesome. She's started with one property, and then she's just on her way, house hacking her way to owning an empire out there. Love it. Love it. All right, guys, we're going to wrap here.
Okay,
Thank you, everyone, for chatting. Thank you for hanging out with us. We will see you next month, the last Wednesday of the month, which I believe is the 27th of May. You'll get a notification as well. Thanks, everyone. Bye.
God bless you all.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.